Hey, peace family, how you guys doing? This is Isaac Grace, the Millennial Hope Dealer, and we are back for part 2, 10K in 90 days. I'm here with my co-host right here, my partner, Mike Alexander. We're here focusing on Mike's story, his journey as an entrepreneur, as a king, as a husband, as a father of three. Yup, and we're going to show you guys the success, how Mike and I linked up, and some of the great things he is doing in this real estate business. So let's jump into it. So our part 1, everybody got a breakdown, understand of, your beginning, some of the things you've accomplished, which is some great things that you've accomplished. So now, we met your wife, we heard that story, which is beautiful. So now you've graduated college as well with a
double major, health science, sociology.
Double major college graduate. So now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, let's talk about once you got into your career and what was that spark with real estate and how that transition happened.
Right. Well, yeah, when you talk about my career, like I said, I work in the juvenile justice system, and like I said, it's very rewarding.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A lot of the times, I can relate with the kids. I'm that big brother, I'm that mentor. I wear 2 hats. Yeah, I'm the eyes and ears of the courts to make sure that you're staying straight, but I'm also your advocate.
Yeah.
And I've walked this path before, so if I can do it, let me put you on the game and tell you how you can make it.
Right, right.
And be that example for you and your family, and make your mom and dad proud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really something that really sparked me, and it sparked me to success in the field as well. You know what I mean? I'm right now, I'm in a situation where I'm actually leading a team, a great team of individuals. I'm a supervisor at my position, and
nice.
I supervise drug court, I supervise mental health court, I supervise up to probation officers, I supervise classes like anger management, things of that nature. Still rewarding, but I still want a little bit more.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And I think that when you're in a situation where you want to help, sometimes when you work for the government, because of bureaucracy and policy and stuff, you can't always help the way you want to.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a situation right now where, because I want more, I decided to, pursue entrepreneurship so I can spend more time with my kids, and I can also touch the community
the way you want to.
The way I want to.
Love it, love it,
you
love
know
it.
What I'm saying? I feel like that'll be a vehicle for me to do so. You know what I mean? I can continue down this path that I feel like God has chosen me for. You know what I mean? So, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking my career for granted or my job for granted. You know what I mean? It's giving me financial success. You know what I mean? I'm able to feed my family. I'm able to help my friends and family that are in need.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean? But there's more. I'm never content. And I think that, me transitioning into being an entrepreneur, I'm just going to build on the things that I learned through that career.
Love it.
You know what I mean? It's
love
going to be a model.
I love it.
I mean? Yeah.
So let's talk about you as a correction officer working with youth.
Yeah, probation.
Probation, like, because that's such a powerful position because a lot of times them voices are silenced. We don't get to hear a lot of these stories from these people in their journey. So, like, talk to us about, like, what was some of them situations that you had to endure while, having to keep your job, but really hearing out some of these youth. What are, like, the cries or the struggles that you're hearing from the youth that we need to be mindful of? How do we help the next generation?
A lot of kids don't feel like they're being heard.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, we could relate as kids. I mean, parents just don't understand. You know what I mean? Like they say, but a lot of kids just want to be heard. Things are different than when we were growing up. I know when I was growing up, there was no Facebook and Instagram. There was no cyberbullying. You know what I mean? Sex trafficking wasn't an issue.
Right.
A lot of the young ladies that I deal with are being sex trafficked.
Wow.
With the young men and women, even males are being sex trafficked. That's something to think about too. A lot of times we only think that it's young ladies that are being sex trafficked, but it's also young men.
Wow.
They also, when it comes to the substance abuse. I mean, back when we were kids, it was, crack, cocaine, marijuana, maybe some angel dust, things of that nature. Now it's the prescription pills.
Yeah.
you may be a father that has a bad back. You may have some hydrocodones and whatnot. Now you have to have it in your mind, hey, I gotta make sure I put that up.
They like equivalent to having a loaded gun in the house.
Correct. You know what I mean? It's things like that, you know, as parents today, we can't compare our childhood to our kids today. They there's different
so much more information they get.
Correct.
Yeah, and advanced. There's so much more advanced.
And, you know, but one thing I will say is that with the kids that I deal with, I feel like their thinking is more advanced than my own. Here I am I decided to become an entrepreneur, 2 years ago? That's when I really started putting, you know, really putting things together, as far as, you know, doing my research and whatnot. They're already thinking in that way.
Wow.
They're already thinking about, hey, I don't want to be an employee. I want to have my own. I want to start my own. They have that entrepreneurial mindset already.
Good.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I said that, you know, something I want to touch on is for these kids who had, you know, maybe selling drugs and whatnot. Yeah, that's an entrepreneur. You may not want to admit it, but that's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it is. Just got to change your product.
Right, exactly. You're just going to, you know, cater that, push that energy towards the right direction.
Towards the right direction, yeah.
I mean?
I could totally relate to that. That's kind of where I was early in my late teenage stages, you know, dropped out of high school. Didn't have a guarantee how I'm going to get fed each day. You know, I had a friend, but you know, when you young, you know, you might got a friend that help you out, but you don't want to abuse that privilege, you know, like I don't want you to feed me, give me everything.
Right.
So that's how I kind of got introduced into the hustling world. And I'm the same way. I've never been a gangbanger. Don't really robbed a couple people, but don't steal, don't kill. That's not what I do. But you know, just trying to make money was really my goal. Like I had a fear at such a young age to be broke because I knew that I had to pay the bills, you know. So I was paying $300 a month in rent at the time. You know, I was hustling, and that's just all I knew to make ends meet. I couldn't, 9 to 5 did not work for me. I just didn't like the idea of just being beneath someone. You know, like when I was working at McDonald's at the time, so you know the managers is tearing you up. You know, they not giving you no love. They not, you know, trying to hear any of that. So I kind of got caught into that trap. But the beautiful thing is that a lot of them principles, and I talk about it, we'll talk about this book, a lot of the principles that I learned from the streets, I applied into real entrepreneurship. So that was the blessing in it. Like I kind of watch how God worked his magic, put me through some adversity and some chartered territories, but through it all, he's equipped me with the skills to say, now is your time to be the entrepreneur, grow into this space here. You've already learned, you know, sales, marketing, ROI, negotiating, staying consistent, customer service, all of them things. Now you can apply this to a different product that's going to assure to build a strong legacy for you. So could totally understand where them kids are. So another question I got for you, as far as like, if you can share success stories with any of maybe some of the kids, do you ever follow them once they leave out of probation? Do they reach out to you? Are any of them like doing anything positive?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes you get those random phone calls.
Okay, good.
Hey, Mr. Alexander, remember me? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I remember. And you know, you had a couple kids, you know, that go off to college.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They become success stories.
Good.
There was a young lady that I had on probation. She got accepted into college. I don't know what school off the top of my head, but she was going to become a pharmacist. You know what I mean? Had you know, several people. You know, I think I told you that I supervise on drug court and mental health court. A lot of sobriety success stories.
Gotcha.
Kids who, you know, were really heavy on drugs and
clean
now
themselves
clean.
up.
They had some join the military, had some get their GED and
Beautiful.
start learning technical skills.
Love it.
You know what I mean? We had a couple that had mental health issues. And a lot of times, you know, these kids on mental health, they commit these crimes to put them on probation. But the thing is, you know, especially in our community, we really stigmatize mental health. You know what I mean? And, you know, so I actually created a program within my job where we cater to that mental health. So in other words, we get you straight, we get you, you know, the proper diagnosis, and we get you medicated, you know what I mean, if need be. And once we get you straight, you see the total change in their personalities, their behaviors, and they become success stories. You
Love
know
it.
what I mean? Because what was causing them to make those poor choices was not so much their choice, it was whatever disability or illness that they had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had a lot of kids that became stabilized over that also. I had a couple kids that were being sex trafficked.
Wow.
And now they're off the streets, making something of themselves. I had a young lady become a nurse.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. It's never ending, to be honest.
Right. God's definitely doing your part there. I'm passionate about that because early on in my career, before entrepreneurship, actually, I would say, what year was this? Probably about 2013 or 14. I started coaching youth football. So that was my way into giving back. At the time, I was hustling. I was living that life. I was in the culture trap, the corner trap. But I met a good friend who, at the time, wasn't a friend of mine. But he was coming home from prison. He did like 6-7 years in federal prison. And he was just calling out a lot of the men in the community, like, listen, like the men, y'all not stepping up. So I need some real serious men to step up and help out with these babies. Our football organization is falling apart. None of the men want to coach. No one wants to give any money to the kids. So that was my introduction into giving back. And I was like, you know what? I used to play football for Lakewood Pop Warner. So I was a part of that, alumni from there. So I said, you know what? I'll coach some football. I'm not the smartest person, but if you give me some 7, 8, 9-year-olds, I could have some fun with them. I got to coach. I did like 4 years of coaching. I loved it. It really was a game changer, like just meeting kids, working with the mothers and just seeing how I was like, the kids connected with me. They listened with me. They respected me. I pushed them to get better. And we had some successful years. I think my first year, we didn't win no games. We was like the little giants. But we had fun. We got better every single game. I watched kids that was scared to even let somebody tap their shoulders, start tackling. And the mothers would just tell me how much better they were getting at home. And I still get some of them kids that reach out to me. And, on my birthday, a few of them reached out to me. I'm watching them grow up. And for me, I had to exit out of the coaching thing because I was still in the streets. So when August to October would come, they would keep me settled. I would kind of second guess some of the things I was doing. I would like literally try my best not to get in trouble. But once season was over, I would, get at it. But more importantly was I knew that in order for me to be the best person for this type of job, I need to establish myself. I wasn't successful how I am at that time. I didn't do real estate. I was still trying to find myself at that time. So I had to make a decision to say, you know what? In order for me to help anybody, I have to help myself first. And that's what I did. I went on my journey, here today where we are. And now one of my dreams is to get back into the football organization and start like a youth football Pop Warner program here. I haven't dug too much into it because I got so much more I want to accomplish right now. But that's like my perfect day, just being, young 40s, late 30s, just being that president of a football organization, walking up and down the field, kids, moms, hey, Coach Ike, Blase, I used to love it. Everybody just show you love. My kids is doing so much better since coming to your organization.
Impacting lives.
And then implementing that financial literacy into the program as well, showing them that it's not just about football because more than likely, maybe 1 or 2 y'all might really make it, but, so we're going to implement that in place. So, definitely, being a correction officer, being a football coach, really helping the youth and just seeing them testimonials come back to you sometimes gives you that drive and that grit. So, definitely appreciate that. Appreciate that information there. So family, that's part 2 of our 10K and 90-day series with Michael Alexander. You guys got to hear some of his career, some of his passion, and some of the things he's doing in this world to help our youth get a better tomorrow. So stay tuned for part 3. We're going to start getting into the fun part, talking about the real estate, the deals, the checks, and the power of what this business can do. So stay tuned. See you guys soon.